right. Welcome, everybody. Everybody's present as far as roll call goes. And so 4.0 is to approve the agenda. I'll move to approve.
A second.
Any questions or discussion on the agenda? All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 5.0 communication reports. Start with Superintendent Grover.
Okay, so just a few updates. The arbitration with the teachers group, just a heads up that they have struck arbitrators. So they start with 7. Each side, gets to take one off the list, if you will, back and forth till you get to the middle person. Then the arbitrator gave dates. As much as we would have liked to hit July or August, there's 2 dates in late August, August 22nd and 25th, and then they go into September and October. So just giving the board, we've submitted, meaning our side, 2 dates that we think would be applicable. We'll see what they come back with. So that's where we're at with that. Maintenance, just a heads up, Mike starts next week, which I'm looking very forward to. There's a lot going on in the summer. I was telling Lynn earlier we've had fire alarm issues out at CMS, working with some panels. A group was in today. There's a boiler project starting at New Heights. There's a lot, even though it's set up, ready to go, there's stuff of getting people keys. All of a sudden today they needed tubs for draining the glycol and different things. It's like, people have been good, but they needed keys to get in. We ran into a leak at CMS with one of the boilers, just stuff that it's eaten a lot of time. And again, the group's good, but I'm ready for him to be here. Carla and I are working with Nexus on our LTFM plan. Again, something that Ron typically, spearheaded, but we'll have it. It is part of the reason we need a end of July meeting. They'll have it in place and we'll be ready to go. I did mention I'm looking into a Solar for Schools grant. Came out July 1st, wasn't aware. These went on for many years, usually once, twice a year. There was a question on if it would continue, but it did, so we're looking into it. The little caveat here is the federal part is changing a little bit with some tweaks in the federal government. So not sure if it's going to be as advantageous as before, but we'll look into it and I'll get you something at the next meeting, assuming we want to. I am happy to announce, I'm not going to use the principal. I was with one of the principals on, let's just say last week. We've come up with a home for another preschool class. So Nancy will be posting in the next day or so for either a preschool teacher or an elementary teacher. And the reason we're posting for both is we do have some people that have preschool license if we had to do some moving. So the first thing was to find a room, and I'm not going to throw it out there because I don't want people going, until we need to find an employee now. And so that's in the works. So that's what.
Would we be at full capacity then of our BPK?
No, we'd still have, I think, one more.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it 120 that we were?
120, weren't we?
We're approved for 120.
Yeah. So this would be 100.
Okay.
So anyway, it's a good step in the right process. I'm not saying
And that's a 4-year-old.
that's a 4-year-old.
And do we have people on the waiting list that would fill that?
We have a full waiting list, and that's the reason that
Okay.
Would that take care of the entire waiting list?
I guess things could have changed in the last week. And last time we got an update, there were 18 kids on a waiting list. So, unless something's changed, and again, before we would hire, we would make sure that's obviously, but that was two weeks, maybe even a month ago. So, well, that's good. And the only other thing I have is to have some conversation, as we had in the closed session, but then I didn't, left it for here, would be on goals for next year, whether you want to do something with that or have a process for that. Obviously, my 2 cents are, the strategic plan has a lot of stuff on it. But obviously it's the board's desire of what you want me, again, you focus on a lot more than just a couple, 2-3 goals or whatever. But, like we had talked last time, I'd like to get something in place sooner rather than later. Doesn't have to be tonight. So.
Yep.
That is what I have at this point.
Any committee reports?
The only thing I had jotted down, we'll talk negotiations about the two groups in our closed session. And then, there's one policy on here. We haven't gotten the others rolled forward. This is just internal stuff. Cody met with the, assistants, principals at the end of the year to look at how could we better communicate some of the transportation stuff like the card system. And so that's what's in that policy. It's not being approved tonight. It's a first reading, but it's more of our internal stuff that we would like included. A lot of that would also go in handbooks, you know, but before we can really put it in the handbooks, we want to make sure you'd be okay with it. Obviously you approve the handbook too later down the road, but so, that's all I have for committees at this point.
Questions for Kevin? Alrighty, 6.0 is the consent agenda. I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any seconds?
Yep, Amanda.
Any questions or discussion on anything in the consent agenda?
The only comment I would put is on 6.4, last year it came back to you, we just did this, but it had been like 5 years. So someone made the comment, we should look at this each year. So adding $5 is 3.03%. And so that's where that recommendation is coming from. You know, the question is, do you leave it for 5 years and then have to go up? I think we went up $20 or something last time, or do you know, on an annual basis? So, that's where that came from. The second one there is the ongoing, that has been, I'd like to see it part of, for Ms. Vetter as part of her, you know, contract. We can deal with that in negotiations, but this has been going on, I've been told 6, 7 years. And so it's just the formal approval.
The only thing that I want to make sure with that is, you know, Beth is getting a stipend, and just make sure that she's open to reworking some things to make sure, you know, there's always was concerns last year that they don't work Fridays, you know, so it's like it kind of puts our athletic director in a bind if they're not willing to do things, if we have to move games to a Friday. So that means like she doesn't want activities on Fridays.
Oh, no games at the middle school.
Right. So I mean, sometimes that's difficult. And if you're getting a stipend to be there, you know, unfortunately, sometimes you have to work a Friday if we have to reschedule a game. It probably happened more in the winter months. So there was some concerns from parents and coaches that were over at the middle school that games were canceled completely because they didn't want to do things on a Friday. So I just want to make sure that that's,
I've
That-
never heard, I mean,
Yep,
it's the first I've heard of any.
I double checked on that today. So to make sure that, you know, wasn't just a rumor, that was actually something that was going on and was said. So I just want to make sure that that's, you know, obviously no one really wants to work Friday night, you know, but unfortunately sometimes those things pop up, and I just don't want to make sure, I want to make sure that we're not, the kids aren't cheating the kids. Yeah. Because something has to get rescheduled, and it's difficult enough when you only have 3 days. If you're only going to be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday anyways for competitions, now it's really hard when you have boys and girls at the middle school level for that. So,
Gotcha. We can have some conversation, because
Yeah.
again, there's nowhere that it's really detailed. I mean, some of it's Wolf Ridge, some of it's, you know, helping supervise.
yep,
Principal's also part of it, you know, supervising the activities. To me, I would like it to be kind of like Brian and Bruce's, you know, as
Yep.
part of their principal contract.
Yep.
But again, this is just what's been in place. This is technically for last year.
yep.
You know, but, we'll
Yes.
have conversation when we get into negotiations. No, I agree. Our buildings are here to be used, you know.
Yep.
I mean, if you're gonna start doing a lot of Saturdays or something, it's to me a little more.
Yeah, I mean,
restrictive than-
our AD is going to do the best he can to
Yep.
schedule around that, but sometimes you can't. And so,
All right, I made a motion, Amanda second. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. 7.0 is opportunity for citizens to speak on items not on the agenda. We've had one turned in. So, Ms. Staus, if you'd like to come up. And again, so reading the guidelines for the open forum, we give you about 3 minutes, but we're not like, we're sticky about that. State your name and address for the record, and then, you know, we listen to your remarks. We can't debate anything. We're just here to listen.
Angela Staus, 219 Mars Drive. East Grand Forks. I'm here again. I just feel I was wrongfully terminated, as you all know. I just want to know that the board is aware of what happened. Are you all aware of what happened? I guess you can't. Okay, don't answer that. In this school, anyways, they were given permission by the secretary and the assistant principal. I did not let them into the school. They came into the school on their own. And why was I punished is all I want to know. The only one, I don't know who else got punished. It was only another custodian and I who left early. So I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me that how many keys are out there? Does anybody know how many keys are out for this school? Because I know that there's been several that have come in on any given day with a key. And wasn't my key, you know. I know there's some parents that are teachers and coaches and their keys get let to their kids so they could come in. Is it right? Are they supposed to? I don't know. But I'm not here for security. I'm here to do my job and I take pride. I took pride in what I did. And I tried to keep kids as safe as I could. I mean, I'd find this door unlocked at 9 p.m. Why? Why was it unlocked? I don't know. So I'd call my boss and say, hey, this door is unlocked. And I thought he was doing a prank on me, like unlocking it from a computer at home or something, which he wasn't. But I mean, there's just been so many times, so many doors left open and propped open. And I mean, I've driven away from school and gates are left open. And so I've gotten out and closed the gates. I mean, it's not keeping our students safe or our staff. And something's got to be done about it. Communication here is terrible. And I've said that since day one. And I brought it up to somebody's attention. And it just, if there was a senior prank going on, how come we weren't notified that this is going to go on? Because then we would have been aware that they were coming into the school. They just come in and ask, I asked them, which I said before. What's going on tonight, girls? Oh, we're just doing a senior prank. Oh, and is that okay? They said it was okayed by so-and-so. I just let it go. Okay, I guess she's higher ranked than I am, so I guess that's okay. And more happened than it was supposed to, apparently. And yes, they said they saw on camera that I walked out the door behind all these kids. Okay, well, was I supposed to not? I have to make sure the door is locked behind them, but how many other doors were open? Well, I had to walk around the whole school and make sure they were all locked before I left. So I don't know. Just don't feel this was fair at all.
We appreciate you coming, speaking with us. Again, we can't debate a whole lot. We can't comment a whole lot on what we do or what we don't know. The one thing that I would comment on, is talk to administration.
That guy.
That guy.
Yeah, and that's what I was told today. Yeah, talk to him. So
You'll have more time
yeah,
to have a more
Well-
open conversation.
Right, we can't discuss personnel issues at the board level, so that would be where you would need to go.
Yeah.
And I would advise doing that.
yeah. Well, there are videos floating around. Yes, there were about how the kids were in the school and whatnot. It was on TikTok. I didn't ever see it, but those kids crawled in that thing in the hallway. I never even knew you could open that. I was never told that was the tunnels, I guess. I know that when there's sewer backup, I got to go and pour bleach water down all the drains or just run water down them, but there's not hoses at every drain. But the stink comes up from that hole, which is down to the tunnels, which I learned after seeing that video. I never knew that. It's, yeah, so I'm glad I never poured water down there, but anyways, yeah. So I don't know if you're aware of seeing any of the videos that went on, or if maybe it's something you need to look into too. I don't know, because this school is not safe. I'm just saying that, and something should be done about it. Protects all of our kids.
Appreciate that.
Mine don't go here unfortunately, but that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Push to shut.
All right, any other that you got?
I don't.
Okay. All right, 8.0 district business. 8.1 is policy adoption, first reading. I need a motion to approve the first reading of policy 709 as presented and attached in board book. And this is the first reading only.
And I don't think we actually need a motion. We're just, the first reading, it's there. And I guess I didn't catch that earlier. I mean, and then the next one it'll be approved at.
So we don't
So
need
no
anything,
motion?
just awareness.
Typically, I guess I'll throw it out where I came from. We would list like say we had 5 of them this
Yeah.
month. We would put 5 in a first reading and actually not, I mean, they'd be here as a first reading. The board doesn't, because if you approve it and don't approve it next time, it doesn't change anything from, it's just there. It's the first reading. It gives you, I'm gonna say, more time to look at it, gives the public more time to look at it. And if someone didn't like something, to come, and that's why it takes 2 readings technically. The second reading is technically when we need to approve or not approve, or again, you can amend things in the second one. You know, you could amend things now.
And this was Cody and the bus drivers that added some of this stuff?
No, the stuff came from meeting with the assistant principals. And
Okay.
again, they're in loop with the principals as well, but they had a meeting, I want to say a day or 2 days after school was out, shortly after, to how'd things go, what could we do, how could we better, move forward, and that's where that stuff came from.
As the bus drivers looked at this?
I sent it to them.
Okay,
So again, they're gonna have it, over the next, because that's one thing we said in negotiations, so
yep,
I apologize, we just don't need to.
No, that's fine.
approve.
Nope, that's
absolutely
okay.
fine.
yep.
Just to read into the record that it's a student transportation safety policy, and so next time it'll be up for approval. Okay, 8.2 is to accept donations to the school district.
Okay. I can hear him opening it up. Sorry, I got a new computer. I don't know how to use it. Okay. Maybe. I will make a motion to accept the following donations. A donation from the EGF Boosters Club for baseball, for backpacks in the amount of $850. And a donation from Arts and Crafts to scholarships. And that is in the amount of $1,000. So total is $1,850.
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the donation, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for the donations. Very kind. 9.0 is payment of claims and accounts.
I'll make the motion to approve the payment of the K-12 bills 129666 through 129791 and the electronic fund transfers in the amount of $1,421,981.48.
I'll second.
Okay, any of your questions or discussion of paying the bills? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 10.0, we're on to board member comments. Nat, we'll start with you.
Kevin, last meeting, we talked about a potential co-op with Sacred Heart for Girls
Yep.
Hockey. Is anything more?
I should have updated 2 things I thought. One is that Scott's working on it.
Okay.
So I mean, he's having communication. I mean, after we were done, relayed the message that we're interested in having conversation. And so he's working on it. I haven't seen anything. Again, he was approached, so I mean, I don't think there's gonna, again, so he'll get information. He's also, I'm gonna say, fairly part-time this time of year,
Mhm,
so,
Sure.
I mean, we're not under number crunch. No one's bent my ear. I'm just gonna be honest, in a negative way. I've had a couple people, just ask some questions. The one that I did make sure Scott was, we wouldn't go up a class. That
Sure.
was one of the, So that's in the works. The second thing I meant to mention, and again, it's not really district business, but EGF, East Grand Forks Booster Golf Tournament on Thursday. Not that, even if you're not playing, people stop by and, support. So, I'm gonna go out for a while, cook and help again. I said I would, so just throwing that out there. I forgot to mention.
Do you know what the process looks like as far as how the co-op? Does it eventually come to the board for?
Yep, no, it has to go to
Yep.
both boards, meaning,
Yep.
Okay.
whether it's two public school districts, I don't know what Sacred Heart has, for a board makeup, whether it's exactly like this, but both sides have to approve. It's a 2-year agreement then,
Sure.
okay? And like I say, if one side doesn't, one side doesn't, it doesn't go anywhere. There's also a process where we have to notify our section members. They have a right to put in comments. I'll be honest, as far as I'm aware, I can never say, because we don't see them all. They go to the state high school league. But as being an AD, majority of the time, people are in support because they want girls hockey to stay going strong. You don't want to lose any teams. The only time I've ever heard rumblings is if two powerhouses, but that
Yeah.
doesn't, I'm not sure if that's ever really happened or not. Because again, if we were flourishing and booming, you're probably not looking to co-op. And again, we have a good program, don't count, but we're struggling in numbers.
Mhm.
And so, that's what opens up conversation.
So the two ADs are kind of figuring things out right now, and then if they both agree to it, then it comes to
Correct,
both boards.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Just one more thing. Is it worth a conversation to have with the building admin as far as the keys in this building, just to ask the question of how many there are and if
Well,
there's an issue?
the problem is when you go back over, and again, I'm gonna use the other buildings that were built in 98. I mean, there's a process of checking keys out and back. Have keys been lost? You darn right there have. That's the pro of getting things fobbed, is those can be turned on and off in very low key. Yeah, or low cost,
Mhm.
I mean, seriously low cost. If we get to the point where all buildings are, it may be worth the conversation of, can we rekey the outside doors? Which is not a cheap process.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I can't tell you, well, agree, there are keys out. Now, there's camera systems, there's things that if people are in that we should be able to, catch, so to speak, for the most part. The flip side is, and I'm guessing you've talked about it, most nights these buildings are wide open. I don't know how you change that, unless you're gonna hire, security guards at, 2 doors that are open. But I mean, till 10 o'clock at night, when basketball's going on or volleyball or any activity, the building's fairly wide open. And I don't know how you change that. You can't. Well, it is, and they section off, but it's not where someone can't get in this end, because you can't lock the fire doors. Years ago, you used to be able to truly block. You can't do that. Now, again, I'm gonna say maintenance will. If someone's down in this end and they catch them, hey, out of here, or kick them out completely. We have, Mr. Lohr, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Kobrinski, that do, keep an eye and try and keep people. But the reality is, kids will run down, got to get something out of, not that a lot use their lockers anymore, and they'll let people come and go. But I mean, no, they close it, keep everyone. But the reality is, can someone walk down? Yeah. I mean, there's not someone walking all the time, or standing at this door, for instance.
Sure.
Or sometimes we have multiple things going on. We had things going on in the cafeteria one night, stuff going on in both gyms. I mean, then the whole building is, and it's no different than CMS. Again, they can close pieces off, but it's not perfect. Type deal. It's a little different, a little better, but are we to that point? Now the piece of, like right now, I mean, if the custodians are cleaning and there's someone walking, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And that's the same in the, well, I think the same during the regular part of the year when you see people and even staff. You don't know who they are. Can I help you? I came out the other day, someone was sitting on the bench. Can I help? Cause that's our job, so.
Okay, thank you. No.
I'm good tonight.
I have no comments either. None.
Holly? Yeah, I don't have any either. Happy July. It's a little slower. 11.0, the next meeting of the Board of Education will be July 28th, 2025 at 5:30. I didn't know if we'd have a second one in July, but we will. Make it short. Now we're gonna move into a closed session, so I'll just move to close. Gonna talk about some negotiations. Closed session. So I'll move to close second.
Second.
All those in favor, closing, are we good?
Aye.
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 Thanks. Closed.